Asbestos in all its forms has long been used in all facets of industry since the dawn of the industrial age over 200 years ago. Wherever high heat, flame, or electrical current was a danger, asbestos was the material of choice used to contain it. Which factory workers are at risk? An easier question to ask would be, which factory workers are not at risk? Asbestos was, and continues to be, found in so many industrial applications that it would be difficult to find a factory where at least some asbestos wasn't present. Foundries and plants where molten metal is poured is one place where asbestos was used in abundance. Blast furnace doors usually had asbestos linings. Many tools might contain asbestos. Ironically, protective gear was often a source of asbestos exposure. Fireproof aprons and gloves were lined with asbestos material, which could release fibers if the outer layer were torn or worn through. Aluminum plants are yet another location at which factory workers were exposed to asbestos. Aluminum is extracted from bauxite ore and processed under high heat in what is known as a pot room. These pots were frequently lined with asbestos insulation. The auto industry has used asbestos practically since the beginning. Because of the high heat generated by friction, often over 1,000 degrees, brake shoes were frequently made from asbestos, as well as clutch plates. Asbestos might also be used in the firewall that separated the engine from the passenger compartment. Paper mill workers might have been exposed to asbestos by changing the felts used in drying machines. These drying machines themselves may have used cement containing one or more particularly deadly forms of asbestos, crucidolite and amosite. Chemical factories are some of the worst offenders when it comes to asbestos. Not only did these factories make use of asbestos in great amounts, they often attempted to cover up or deny the fact that it was causing worker injuries and illness. Asbestos producers were also culpable. In 1977, a plaintiff's attorney made a discovery in an office closet at the Asbestos Corporation of New York, consisting of letters between that company's CEO and the CEO of Johns Manville. The content of these letters proved that these corporations had known of the health effects of asbestos for over 40 years and had conspired to keep the information secret from the public. Asbestosis and mesothelioma. There is a considerable latency period for mesothelioma. Symptoms typically appear some 20 to 50 years after the initial exposure. Not everyone who is exposed develops the disease. Use of tobacco, however, has shown to exacerbate the conditions that cause mesothelioma. Smokers who have been exposed to asbestos run a far greater risk for developing the disease than non-smokers. Although medical science is not certain just how asbestos fibers cause mesothelioma, research indicates that the fibers interact with the cells at the level of DNA, causing them to mutate in some fashion. The exact cause of asbestosis is more fully understood. Antibodies, known as macrophages, try to attack asbestos fibers as if they were some sort of virus or bacteria. They literally impale themselves on these silicate structures, causing the digestive enzymes to come in contact with healthy lung tissue. This, in turn, leads to a buildup of scar tissue on the inner surfaces of the alveolar sacs, decreasing lung capacity over time. Justice. There is no question that someone is to blame. It may not necessarily be the factory at which a victim worked, however. More often, it is an asbestos manufacturer or a dealer. In any event, it must be proven legally that whoever produced, marketed, or used the asbestos product had full knowledge of its toxicity, yet took no action to protect those who might be harmed by it. A law firm specializing in asbestos litigation will often maintain or have access to a database containing records of manufacturers and dealers in asbestos products. In addition, asbestos litigation has over 3 decades of precedent and case law upon which to draw, an overwhelming majority of cases, and decided in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer,
asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.net. Information and help for patients and families.